Okay, so I have my machine threaded. I have my blanket ready to go. And so this is just gonna be a baby quilt, as you can see. Now, how do I start? I start by getting it ready. I use my basting spray on both sides, get my machine ready. Now, I only do meandering, and so I start at the middle. On the outside, I pick anyone, go in the middle, and that's where I'm gonna start. And the reason why I do this is I don't like to start like anywhere in the middle, because then you gotta like make sure it stays. Whereas here, this is where I'm starting, so this is where I want my ending point to be, and it just makes it easier for me that way, just because then I can go this way. I go to the center, I go down, and then I come back out. Easy. There's no stopping anywhere around here, and so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start here, pick a place, and meandering is just basically, there's like no rhyme or reason, you're just filling up space, right? So I think of an orange, the size of an orange, I try to stick with that. So you're going to go around, and then meandering is I have my stitch length here 2.5. It doesn't really matter, because what matters more is not your machine, it's your pace. So it's me pushing it around, pulling it around myself. So I'm in control of the blanket moving. That means I'm in control here of these stitch lengths, because right now my feed dogs are down, or no, they're not. It still works with my feed dogs up. It just put your feed dogs down. It's just like a flat plate there now. And meandering is just filling up the space. And I am in control. That's why I'm wearing these gloves. They have grips on them. They are just garden gloves. I don't use quilting gloves. You can use them. I remember I had a pair and I gave them away. Should have kept them. However, I really like these. They grip the blanket. As I am meandering here, why I have my basting spray on is the bottom. So you really want to remember, you can't see the bottom, right? That basting spray helps. If not, pinning would help. It helps it so it doesn't fold over. That's why I like the spray. Anyways, start there. I'm gonna work my way in here until about the center. Remember to your presser foot to controls your speed, how you're going, how fast you're going. So the harder I press on my presser foot down with my foot, the faster it's gonna go. And then I have to remember, the faster the needle is going, the faster I have to move the blanket around. And then I just do like shapes, like around here. Now I'm gonna go maybe around here to turn it. We'll go around here, turn it, and we're gonna bring it down, and then we're gonna start to go the other way. Right? So now because I went this way, I need a circle. This way, down again. Always remember to stop. I am stopping to not only look where I'm gonna go next, to flatten the blanket, because as you can see, it's gonna move around like this. Flatten your surface. There are rings. I don't use one. I heard it's easier on your shoulders, but I don't use them. I just go like this. So you need to remember when you're filling up spaces, you want about 1 to 2 inches, right? You want to keep the spaces even. So right here is closer than here, that's okay. However, as long as it's not too much of an open place, it should be okay. So this is how I quilt my queen size up to a king. I put it in sections and I do 1 section at a time. There you go. So now I got this started, ended here. Now I'm going to start here, go down, come back out. And that is 1 section done. And then you're just going to go around the blanket same way. Just fill the spaces. So while it is slow down, but you see those pauses, right? That's how fast the pause goes. That's how fast, like I'm kind of planning in my head where to go. That small, that like little second of a pause is me looking while also trying to keep going, right? So pause, flatten it out, go. Pause, flatten out, just kind of looking to see what's open, where am I going to go. I want to go there, right? And then you also kind of have to remember how much you have on your bobbin. I'm good. The bobbin I just changed, it should be good for my whole blanket. Right, there's space here I want to fill up. Just start here. And just this corner. So while I am used to it, and I can usually write about 98% of the time that there's no folds, I do double check at the end. However, if you are new to this, keep checking your back, because you don't want to do like a whole big line, find a fold, have to take out all those stitches, go and fix it, and then do it all over again. It's not fun. I've been there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to baste it, right? So slowly, doesn't matter how big the stitches are, as long as it's down. Oh my goodness, my kid is home today, so. And so this is basting, you're going to see here. What this is for is it'll hold it in place. Especially when for the binding. So this helps a lot for the next step, which is the binding, because if it could still stretch, your fabric can still stretch. Sometimes I go a little bit too much out and it doesn't cover, it's not covered by the binding. That's okay, because it's a loose stitch. Just once your binding is on, go back, take out that stitch and just like pull it out until you know the rest is hidden under the binding. Anyway, let's say I'm gonna start right here. This is when you're gonna switch direction, right? So now I'm gonna go up here. Fill that area. I have to go up here to fill that area. Just a quick. Forget the base, yeah, I'll do other. Now, when you always get to the end, always remember your bottom piece can fold over whenever and you not even notice. It can go, so you always have to just stop. I do a quick check to make sure that's flat. You are not a machine. You can go wherever you want. This is a hand, like freestyled. Machines will be tighter. They'll be, because they're capable. So I'm just saying, remember to spread it out, because when I started, it was really close. I made them really close. It was a big headache when I made a mistake at the back and it folded over and I had to pick out all those stitches. So I learned to do it in this one because it's easier. It's less, it's not as tight, and it's tight enough where it's close enough, but it's not too tight where if there was a mistake, that would be a headache. Because my first one, it was really tight. I made a mistake and it took about 3 hours to take out all the stitches, and that was not fun. And the more closer it gets together, the stiffer your quilt would be. Like the more, I can't think of the word right now. The more dense, is that the word? I don't know, but so you just want to kind of spread it out, right? Enough that it's close enough to hold and do the job it's supposed to do to keep the quilt together. But you could go further. I think the furthest, I don't know what it is, like 10 inches they say. It's usually the binding tells you how the furthest it wants it apart. What else is there? But I found this a good size for me. I was told think of a toonie, which I kind of do, and then I kind of made it a little bit bigger. And so I think of an orange, and like more like a mandarin orange, right? So, right, continuing on. to baste my quilt. That's just pretty much, just remember, you're not a machine. Don't compare it to machines. This is from you. It does take practice to get your stitches the same length. A machine, like a long arm machine that does it for you, has a stitch regulator. You don't. You just remember to give yourself grace, and that you're practicing, and to know your speed and what you're comfortable with, and it'll get better the more you practice. And you just literally see me get my finger caught in there. Watch your fingers. If I decide to show that. Just kidding, I probably will. Make sure that's up. There we go. Start over. These gloves are just a wee bit long. That's probably why it gets caught. But watch your fingers. Okay, I was going slow. I'm just going to do a voiceover at this part because I didn't explain it very well looking back at it as I'm editing this video. So what I'm saying is, the looser the stitch, the better. I'm adding on to what I said before. If you do small, tight stitches, it will push the fabric over, basically. You have to remember, this fabric still stretches, it still moves. So at this part, the looser the stitches, I noticed the looser I have mine, the more relaxed the top stays in place. And when it's more relaxed, it stays in place, it's going to stay in the area where it is, instead of being pushed over right to the end, or not to the end, wherever there's stitches there stopping it. Like about where I am, you know how I went over the edge. What that's going to do is going to stop the fabric, and then it's just going to it's going to start all over again, and it's going to push this fabric over every time you have stitches there. So when you do it loosely, it keeps the fabric in place, it doesn't pull, and I just found it all around more better when I did it like this. And you can always pull it out later if you'd like, if it shows, but usually the binding hides it. And there we have it's done. Right. Also, this is the back. Always flip it over and check the back as well, right? I like busy prints because then you can't really focus on my quilting. Or white matte, white blends in with the thread I use, so there you go, right?